This video is a test, but you clicked on it anyway, so let's get into it. So yes, this video is in fact a test, or more specifically, this video's thumbnail is a test. You see, YouTube has introduced A/B testing for thumbnails, and I've been using it for a couple of videos now, and I've found it absolutely fascinating. So I thought I'd do a little bit of a video just kind of going over what A/B testing is and how I'll be using it going forward on YouTube. So first off, which thumbnail did you see? You might have seen this one encouraging you to click the video, or you might have seen this one discouraging you to click the video. Which one did you get? You clicked either way, so it'd be very interesting to find out, and we will find out. The results of this test in a couple of weeks' time will be commented down below. But what is A/B testing? Well, essentially, it's a way for you to experiment with two or more variants of a particular variable. Those variants get displayed randomly to different users, and then you use some sort of statistical analysis to determine which variant is the best variant. And that can obviously look like lots of different things. It could be, for example, the color of a button, something as simple as changing the color and determining which color makes it more likely for a user to click that button. It could also be something more complex and a completely new feature or screen in your application where you might want to test whether or not people make good use of that feature or whether they prefer to use a different feature. It really is quite a broad kind of testing methodology, but I definitely think it's more effective when you only make a small change. It's much easier to understand how that change has impacted the user when it's small. If, for example, you completely redesign a whole page, you don't actually know what of that redesign is good and what is bad. You might find, for example, that you've completely redesigned your page and you A/B test between the old and the new one, and overall there's no difference. Well, that might be because something in the new one negatively is impacting user metrics, but at the same time something else is positively impacting it, and it's just cancelling itself out. So it's much better to do this kind of testing on small incremental scales. It's also very important to define early on what is success, what is the metric that you're going to be using for this kind of testing. But once you've got those things sorted, it is a really powerful way of gaining feedback from your users without the user actually having to do anything. You haven't got to fill in a form or be asked questions. They don't even necessarily know that they're being tested, which I guess is an ethical complication, but when you're dealing with things like UI changes and new app features, it's not quite as important of a worry. Plus, of course, it's kind of expected with apps and stuff that things change and evolve over time. So that's kind of what A/B testing is. And I think it's really a powerful tool that if you're a developer, you should really look into. There's lots of really great resources online that dive into the psychology of A/B testing, of the methodology, and how you can kind of start implementing it in whatever framework or language or thing you use, because of course that's another thing to consider, is how are you actually, from a programmatical point of view, going to display these changes and make sure that it is truly as random as it can be and fair. So yeah, there's lots of resources out there. This video isn't really about that. It's kind of just an insight into this is a thing that exists, and you should definitely consider using it in your applications. But more to the point, it's now also a feature on YouTube. As a creator, I'm able to now A/B test my thumbnails. This is actually something that launched at the very end of 2023, but has kind of been rolling out to smaller creators like myself. You know, we're now 7 months into the year and it's finally trickled down to my tiny channel. But it's really cool because what it does is it gives you the option to upload 3 thumbnails, and then YouTube will automatically randomly display each of those thumbnails to users, and it will then measure the amount of watch time that each thumbnail gets. So it's not just about whether or not you click on a video because of the thumbnail, but it's also about how long you then watch the video once you've clicked it. Because you might have a super catchy thumbnail that draws people in, but if it's kind of a bit clickbaity or isn't really telling you the user what the video is about, they may well just click off and go away. So the metric that's important here is watch time. You've obviously got to get people clicking it to get the watch time started, but then it's about how long they actually watch. And these experiments run for up to 2 weeks, and then the winning thumbnail becomes the default thumbnail for that video after the 2 weeks. It can run for a shorter time if it becomes that there's a clear winner. Perhaps one thumbnail gets like 90% of the watch time and the other one only gets 10%. Well, it's kind of clear that one of those thumbnails is much better than the other one. And that's kind of how it works. And for me, I've done it now on the last kind of 2 videos. Those tests are actually still running. And I find it fascinating because my biggest problem as a content creator, really, the skill that I feel like I need to work on the most is my thumbnail creation. I have been speaking to the camera for many years, doing different things, whether it's with my job, whether it's presenting, whatever it might be. So that's never really been an issue for me. But the side to content creation that's really new is trying to get users to click on your video. So thumbnails are a big part of that. And I've always kind of questioned myself about how good my thumbnails are. I don't think they're anything particularly special. I think they have evolved and got better. But this is a tool that can actually really help prove that and also test new ideas. If maybe I have a new idea for a way to display a thumbnail, I can make that one of the tests. I can have a try and see if it performs well. If it doesn't, well, no harm lost, and on we go. If it does, I know that that was the thumbnail and it wasn't the actual content or other things. That's kind of part of the problem. If a video is successful, you don't know that it was because of the thumbnail. But if you're A/B testing the thumbnail, you might have at least a better idea about whether it was the thumbnail or not. So for me, this is just such a great new feature for content creators, and I like to think that we will see more of these sorts of things where we can kind of experiment more with our audiences and really start to understand what our audiences like. I think that's very important. If you're going to make good content, it should be stuff that people want to watch. So having tools to understand what people want to watch is vital. So yeah, this was just kind of a short little video about introduction to A/B testing. If you're a software developer, definitely check out A/B testing. Super useful tool. If you're a content creator, check out the A/B testing for thumbnails because I've really enjoyed it so far. And the results have been very interesting. Now for this video itself, once the test for this video finishes, I will post the results down below as kind of an insight into this little experiment, which is kind of, for me, is, are people more likely to click on a video thumbnail that's positive and encouraging them to click? Or are they more intrigued and want to click on a thumbnail that's kind of actively pushing them not to click on it? Is a video that's like telling you not to watch it or being negative actually going to spur you on to watch it? Very interesting. I hope you agree, and we'll see what the results are like down below in due course. So thank you very much for watching. Like I say, just a short one this week, but I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you again very soon for another video. Thank you very much. I'll see you later.